This book is part of the Survivor series, and it's called The Fly That Raped the Guy by Sarah's mom. There was once a successful loan shark who loved his job, the skull tattoo that decorated the lawn on his chest, and most of all, his pet gerbil. One day, a fly flew right into the skinhead's freshly waxed, deliciously slippery scalp. The fly was delighted with his new find. Whee! Cackled the fly as he slid around on the guy's scalp like a giant slide. Then he did a dirty little dance with his bootylicious fly hiney, right on top of that guy's head. The guy scratched his head without quite knowing why. Right then and there, the evil fly decided that he liked to tickle the guy. His tiny hiney, unsexy appendage, and lifelong fumigation eligibility made this crawler feel small, but not when he tickled a man this big and tall. Now a powerful puppeteer, the tiny ticklish fly made the guy scratch and squirm like a worm, and the guy hated germs. Late that night, the guy skipped merrily down a back alley with his favorite baseball bat in hand as he hummed Hakuna Matata in his sexiest voice. He strongly believed in having work-life balance of career and leisure, so he stopped to twerk on his way to work at regular intervals. Suddenly, as the guy was moving to his groove, out came the fly and zoomed right into his eye. The guy stumbled on his black, shiny platform shoes and landed right on his juicy booty with a yelp. Like a peeping Tom at a peep show, the guy squinted with his eye and began to cry. His favorite bat had cracked in half. All the while the fly was knee-high in his liquidy eye, vigorously putting the lube to good use. The guy's weeping caused his black lashes and liner to leak and streak his cheeks. He held his broken bat to his grassy chest as he wept. The lone shark awoke bright and early the next morning to attend a work-related conference meeting. The guy's boss and all his professional associates gathered in the overgrown, abandoned soccer field that was strewn with glass bottles, rusty needles, and complimentary syringes. The coworkers exchanged the usual niceties and formalities as common watery courtesy. The guy conformed to the decorum with conventional ho-hum boredom, contemplating if he'd rather be eating a moth. Then, something snazzulous happened. The guy's boss gave him the honorably prestigious opportunity to begin the meeting with an icebreaker game of his choice. The guy stood pompously in front of all his prestigious affiliates. They were sitting in lineups on the grass now, tracing the tattoos on each other's backs as he spoke. He described in detail the complex laws of broken telephone in relation to communication by stimulation of the person on your right's auditory cochlear apparatus. The vile fly was watching the guy close by and humping a rotten mushroom. He suddenly giggled and decided to tickle the lone shark in the middle of his speech. The fly quickly prepared himself for his quest. The fly twerked his itty-bitty bum in the air and searched for his microscopic member. Come out, wherever you are," the fly chanted. Eventually, he thought it had just gone and disappeared. He groaned in solemn commemoration and eulogy. Fuckity, fuckity, fuckity. But then he found it! The fly was now sweaty, but he was finally ready. The fly soared right down the guy's racy, lacy little number. Then he began to bounce and buzz right up in that guy's own personal space. That proud professional loan shark and gerbil owner surely felt the fly. His voice began to boom with giggles from the tickles, but his brain was ashamed and he wanted to cry. The esteemed attendees stopped tracing one another's tattoos and wondered why their colleague began to randomly roar with a laugh and then a cry. The fly howled and chuckled and sniggered and tittered. "I am as big as a bee, a snail, a hare. Fuck, I'm more powerful than a guy, and I'm only a fly." That vile fly was satisfied. He sailed up and on his way, but he didn't know that guy was so brave. "I got raped by that fly!" yelled the skin-headed guy. The Sympathetic Loan Shark Association and their CEO had been titillatingly enthusiastic about the upcoming broken telephone game. Now, they had tears in their eyes for the game and for the guy. Within seconds, the Loan Shark Association's most prominent participants were tearing across the soccer field, bearing their branded fluffy chests. They bellowed profanities and waved their baseball bats, broken glass, and teeny needles in the air as they chased that fly. Then the fly died. Now you know what to do if it happens to you. By now, Sarah's mom had gotten a little carried away with her bedtime story and was twisting her body into various shapes on the floor. She was pretending to be a baseball bat by combining various yoga poses. Sarah's mom had taken special care to make sure the story was long enough to ensure that all the children at the annual class sleepover would fall asleep. Only one child was still awake now. She had been asking for her mom throughout the bedtime story, but Sarah's mom hushed her with a dirty look and a flash of her middle finger. Now the little girl's eyes were finally closing, and she too was nodding off to sleep. Sarah's mom kissed her daughter on the cheek and then tippy-toed out the room. Sarah's mom was never asked to host the annual class sleepover again, so she hosted it in the summertime instead. The end.